welcome back, everybody. And so, John, thanks for coming again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's mention just before we get too deep into the video to like, subscribe, leave comments.
Yeah, it's all. Am I going to get it right? Hey, I got it mostly right today. Down over here somewhere.
Nice. Yeah. So drop us a line. Tell us what you're working on. See if we inspired anything, hopefully. If we say anything you disagree with, let us know.
That would not surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Kind of my gift. Yeah, is there something you'd like us to show you?
Yeah,
Something
absolutely.
something you'd like us to expand on?
Yeah. I want to turn this into not only a conversation between John and I, but also a conversation with our viewers. And we know we do have some dedicated viewers who really watch
Yeah.
this talk. These talks, I think, are more of the kind of loyal followers
Yeah.
that watch.
We appreciate you.
this.
We really do.
Absolutely. And then I'll mention too John's cables
Yeah.
and repairs, as well as upcoming preamps, I believe.
Yeah, working on 2 different preamps now.
Nice.
Taking a break because I'm going on the road this week. But yeah, things are coming along. I'm happy with the voicing that I'm starting to get. So
Awesome.
it's just parts tweaking,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Cool. So let's talk a little bit about some new things. I thought we'd talk a little bit about choral. So this is a tune that I played a little while ago, put together a bit of a chord melody arrangement on, and so released that last week. So let us know how you're doing on that tune. And of course, we just played a little bit on it and talked about it. It's really great tune harmonically and melodically.
Yeah,
Going on.
there's a lot to unpack on this tune
Yeah.
because it is 2 different things going on at the same time. Actually, is what it feels like.
Yeah. So got a harmony, got melody, got bass lines moving in certain directions.
And then and then the melody is completely disjointed.
Yeah. and yet so pretty and kind of singable too.
Well,
but it is pretty wild, isn't it?
Well, Keith Jarrett sings when he plays.
Yeah.
So it does come through on tunes like this.
Yeah.
Where this is obviously out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Because that's where it makes sense. As an instrumental tune,
Uh,
really doesn't make sense.
right. Yeah, the sung melody.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about this. So this tune's in the real book.
Yes.
A tune that I would recommend, or a book that I'd recommend, is the Christmas Reel book, which I just bought a hard copy of, and it's got some interesting changes. Some of the changes, I don't know if I'd use them, but but it's there, and some pretty kind of cool things to play.
Yeah, I've had that book for a while. It is very useful if you're a gigging player. It's holiday season time. This is our time of the year.
Yeah.
So yeah, you need stuff like that.
Yeah, get out that book and play some tunes.
Yeah, maybe stuff people haven't heard much, or there's some really cool stuff in there. As you say, some of the chord changes, you're just like, wow, don't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, between that and if you use an iPad or your phone and have iReal Pro, the quantity of holiday tunes on there is incredible.
Yeah.
It's like you need Polish Christmas songs. I've actually had to look for that and found it. It saved me on a gig.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, and playing through the tunes there, some of the changes. So I've been teaching our daughter some concepts on chord voicings to use and to use with that book and everything. So you kind of get the major, minor, dominants, get most of those together, know where your root notes are on string 6 and string 5. It all depends on where you are at with your, guitar work or whatever.
Sure.
But if you can learn the notes on string 6 and string 5, get a few of the shapes. There are really 5 basic types of chords. You might say you need to know, well, we can count them: diminished, half diminished, minor, dominant, and major.
And major, like a 6 chord.
Yeah. And then they all have their own little quirks and things.
And the half diminished is actually a minor chord.
Yep. Minor chord with a flat 5.
Right. It's not. Carol Kay rants about this, but it is. She's like, it is not a part of the diminished family. It is a minor chord.
No, and that's one thing I've been trying to tell her about. So I created this little bit of a list where it might be called minor 7 flat 5, an example of the half diminished, or it might have the diminished with a slash through it. And sometimes you have a diminished with a slash through and a 7.
Right.
Which seems a little bit redundant.
It's kind of redundant because, the assumption is that the 7 will be there. Yeah.
Yeah. But these are naming conventions. And so you have a lot of different things that could mean really the same thing. So I created just a little 4 options on depending on the one, but which you just might happen to see. It kind of depends on the publisher and whoever is writing it. What they like.
On that, to all publishers out there, stop writing MAJ and MIN.
Yes.
Stop it.
And one thing that I really don't like is capital M versus lowercase m.
Yeah.
Like,
give me a capital M and a minus.
Ever do, please.
Yeah, it's the real book started this years ago because it was Berkeley's notation.
Yeah.
It allows you to sketch quickly.
Yeah.
On that, and it makes sense. An M is major, a minus sign is minor. Great.
Yeah.
Move on. Stop I hate it when I see MAJ and MIN. I don't have time to read that.
Yeah. I have had mostly good charts and lead sheets to work with, but there are those occasions where it's very ambiguous and maybe you don't know this tune at all.
Yeah.
And you're like, what, and it feels scary, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I kind of laugh, say, 99% of the gigs I do are reading gigs. Partially because I have a brain like a sieve, but and if I'm doing something with somebody I haven't worked with before and they hand me a chart from 1955 and it's written like that, it's very frustrating.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll usually ask if I can go through and repencil because it's you don't want to fall down on the gig.
Yeah.
Fall down before, fall down after.
Yeah.
On the gig, you've got to look perfect.
Yeah. Yep. So there are funny things too, like 7s and then 7s with a slash through it. So there are some what I would call maybe more obscure naming conventions. But personally, I like the very simple things. Like I like the triangle 7. That seems very elegant, very easy.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. -7 just means minor 7.
Minor 7, yeah.
So things like that are helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree with the diminished versus half diminished. When I think half diminished, it really doesn't. It means half means almost nothing because it's not half diminished. I mean, that's just the name that we use for it.
Yeah, I remember reading how that came about, and it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, couldn't tell you. I know I read it, and it's all kind of silly. It's just nobody knew what to call it.
Yeah, is it like halfway between minor and diminished?
I think that was the thinking.
Yeah.
It's not, but
it's somewhere between those two, so we'll call it that.
It's a minor with that thing. Just yeah.
But minor 7 flat 5. I would say that is probably the most correct way. But it's just a longer.
It's a longer way, and you want condensed and quick.
Yeah.
And the symbols like minus sign, the triangle.
Yeah.
A plus for a suscord. These things are handy.
Yeah.
And you can read it fast.
Right. So get those 5 things together and know your you obviously want to know all the notes on the guitar everywhere, but if you're just kind of getting those chords together and just try to memorize, especially string 6, and then got that string 5.
Yeah, you're just sort of building up. So you tend to think sort of like thirds and extensions, maybe on the top 3 strings. Is that kind of where you teach it?
Yeah, I think that's a great way to think about it. So root notes on, so for general comping, root notes on or slash chords on strings, your low note on strings 5 and 6.
Right.
The middle 2 strings, generally think those as the core part of the chord that gives the
Third,
quality of it.
fifth.
Yeah. So those kinds of things. And then the first 2 strings, kind of the upper part of it. So if you want to add color to it, the 9s
and 11s and these things are going to...
those kinds of things.
That makes sense, especially because you've got that silly third tuning in there.
Yeah. Yep.
Which makes me nuts. But yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So as far as chords go, that whole thing kind of works well because it puts the 5th. If I had a B flat 6 chord, it puts a 5th on the same fret as the root note.
Right.
So that's kind of helpful. Otherwise, it would be on a different fret. And then the root note, like we were talking to the Lessons and Talks folks here in the member area about a little trick that you can do with using the note,
the 2 outside.
The 2 outside notes.
String 6 and 1. So
which would be offset if it was perfect fourths all the way.
Right. But then which I did retune my Strat to straight fourths.
You did? Okay.
I did, and all of a sudden I like playing it.
Yeah, so that's probably the same phenomenon that I have with when I tuned my 6-string bass to the guitar tuning, offsetting those first 2.
Take away your union card for that, man.
I know. It's, but who's that bassist who has the strings completely flipped?
Well, Jimmy Haslip.
Do you know it?
But he plays left-handed and upside down.
And upside down, yeah.
Yeah. So I know a few bass players in DC who same thing. That's just how they learn. They just flip it over, and wow, it's disturbing to watch.
Yeah,
it's really weird to watch.
And there's Elizabeth Cotten. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she wrote a pretty famous tune called Freight Train. Yeah. And there's video of her playing and the guitar upside down, left-handed. Wow, how that's got to be hard. But but if that's the way you learn, then that's what it is.
That's it. But yeah, I'm having fun with the fourths tuning.
Yeah.
Thing. That's a blast.
Yeah. Interesting to note, I think she made the 250 top guitarists of all time on this very controversial Rolling Stones list.
Dumbest list I've ever seen. I mean, come on.
It's
the people they left out.
Yeah, the people that they. Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to diss on anyone, but the left out and placed in. There are certain players who are like, okay, they play guitar, but that's not that's not like their main thing.
They're guitar operators. But they're really singers or
songwriters.
But I have heard there were a couple people who were put high on that list who went, no.
They themselves
were like, oh no, this is wrong. I shouldn't be on this list, or I should be way down. And here's somebody who should be.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know about that.
Yeah. There's a few. I won't name names, but I've read at least 2. Have done that, because you think about people who aren't on that list, and I will name one, Matteo Mancuso.
Oh yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Every guitar player that has heard him has just gone, that's it, I'm selling it.
Yeah.
Steve Vai was just like, I'm having a garage sale.
Yeah.
Al Di Meola was like, he goes, this is 3 lifetimes in this kid just to get at the level that he's playing.
Yeah.
And he's not on there.
Yeah. So I could be incorrect about that, Elizabeth Cotten, but I think she did make the list, if I recall.
Yeah, I had a quick scan down the list and went, no, it's Rolling Stone. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean they one thing I heard someone talking about was the Nirvana, the original review of the Nevermind album.
Where they tore it apart.
They tore it apart. And it ended up being,
Oh,
like everybody's just like, it was a thing.
It changed things.
Yeah, it changed things big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah,
it is what it is.
Lists are meant to be laughed at, I think.
Yeah. I
honestly.
would never really take it too seriously. I don't even think I've even opened a Rolling Stone magazine, to be honest.
I probably haven't opened one in 30 years.
Yeah.
I think the last time I opened one, I was living in Nashville. And so that would be the late 90s.
Okay.
And that's only because I was in the Nashville music business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was a teenager, it was like I think I had Guitar World and a bunch of skater magazines and stuff.
Yeah.
I wasn't good at skateboarding, so I had to kind of give that up. But I dreamed about getting some air. But
I was terrible.
that was
at
all
it.
in my mind.
I met the ground more than the air.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So okay, off we go there.
Yeah, what else do we have to talk about? Oh, yeah, AI transcribing. I mean, this is really a big productivity thing.
There is software. I'm not going to name software online.
Okay.
Just because,
Yeah.
AI transcription companies talk to me. We'll work something out.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But I don't want to weight
Yeah.
opinion in any one direction. But there is a bunch of software. If you Google AI music transcription software, you will get a lot of stuff. Pretty much all of them have a free trial. And even the free version on a couple is extremely good.
Okay.
Like will get you really what you need most of the time, unless you're dissecting choral parts or something.
Yeah.
And it's seriously, put a recording in, get music out, get the sheet music, get XML files so you can, play it back as MIDI track.
Yeah.
And it is, I'm finding, about 99.5% accurate.
That's great.
Which is pretty incredible.
That could be a really huge time saver for me.
Yeah.
Because, transcribing is sometimes, it's just, it feels kind of like work.
It's
honestly.
tedious. And sometimes you've got to do it for the work you need to do, but you don't have time.
Yeah.
And it's like I'll get stuff. This happens on like church gigs and things sometimes where there is no sheet music.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about, it's like, okay, there's just this recording of Aunt Edna playing it at church one Saturday afternoon. That's all you got to work with.
Yeah.
I am not going to sit down and work it out.
Yeah.
I'm going to run it through this. Bang. I got a chord chart. I'm good.
Nice. That's great.
I can get on to more important things like taking a nap.
Yeah.
Not to say transcription isn't important, kids.
Yeah.
It's a great learning tool. Do it, understand it. It gives you a good understanding of music structure.
Yeah. Transcribing melodies and solos for the purpose of growing on the instrument, that's absolutely very important.
Yeah, I think it's extremely useful.
Yeah.
And everybody should do it at least a little bit so you just have an understanding.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're doing like me where, I might have 7 gigs in a week.
Right.
I'm not going to sit down and work out somebody's chord changes.
Right. And for me, if I have a project and I want to maybe play the exact bass line that someone, I write it out. So, and then I read it. Or like I was telling you, I might usually I don't, I do this with bass lines too. I might learn a phrase, or a few bars or whatever.
Right.
And then play it that way and then record
just little
that
chunks at
and
a
then I
time.
just move on, boom, 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 down that.
Which sometimes is how it's done in the studio.
Yeah. Yeah. So
They'll be like, play this 8 bars. Okay, good. Next.
yeah. That's interesting because that's kind of the way that I tend to approach at least some things. When I shoot video for these, it's played through.
Right.
Because I want people to see exactly maybe not like exactly what they're hearing, but like I said, on this last recording, I did 3 takes and then I included all 3 takes.
Right.
So you're only seeing me do 1 take. But
it's that big, pretty sound.
Yeah, so I'm trying to layer,
Mm-hmm.
trying to learn a little bit about how studio
Yeah.
stuff and recording operates. So
Yeah, that's done a lot more than you would realize.
yeah.
I mean, it's easy enough now to do it digitally.
Yeah.
But sometimes nothing beats just manually doing it
Yeah, and this,
2 or 3 times.
Yeah, reading articles about that, how they'll just have a guitarist just do that same solo or same part, and then put it together. It really does add a little dimension to the sound.
Yeah.
And you can hear the other two takes come out on some of the higher notes.
Right,
They
yeah.
kind of pop out a little bit. So listen for that if you're interested in this kind of stuff. But
Well, you know what's funny? There is a thing this was a big thing, especially in country music, but it happened in pop music in the 50s and 60s was they would record the bass part twice.
really,
Once with the regular bass, then once with what they called a tic-tac bass.
okay.
So it'd be like a Dan Electro
Ah,
tuned up an octave.
oh, okay.
Because the mono car stereo in the old Oldsmobile Buick
Yeah,
up on the dash couldn't do low notes,
yeah,
but it had to come through the radio. And that little pocket transistor radio had no low end below like 250.
wow.
I mean, nothing. They're basically, telephone range, which is 300 to 3K.
Yeah,
That's it. So they would do, the bass part there
Yeah.
and then do it up an octave
yeah,
so that it would come through both places.
yeah.
And then on the big recording, sometimes you would hear both parts at the same time.
Ah, okay.
So it gives it this, and the tic-tac bass part is always played with a pick
Yeah,
to get that attack. So you could have that, but then this cool,
yeah,
tight.
yeah. That's cool.
And it's, so if you listen back to the stuff in the 50s and 60s,
Yeah,
that's what you're hearing.
yeah. Nice. Yeah, I find on doing the bass recording, I'm really enjoying lately using the pick because it just seems to record very nicely. You get a little attack on it.
Carol Kay will be so happy.
Yeah.
'Cause,
She's my idol.
yeah, it's, it's just incredible.
Yeah.
But
It's cool that she plays guitar and bass
Yeah.
too. Very, very well.
very well, yeah. But
Yeah, so AI transcribe, absolutely. I'm gonna be getting on Google this week and seeing what I can find because that would just speed up my workflow.
yeah. This is it. We all have lives and families and stuff.
Yeah.
And if you've got a good time saver,
Absolutely. Yeah.
even if it's only 90% accurate, it just lifted 90% of the work off you.
Oh yeah, I mean I can take care of the other 10%.
Yeah, we can figure that out on the fly.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So there's such great software out there now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Black Friday deals.
That's the other thing. It's coming up.
Coming up. So at the time of this recording, it's a little less than 2 weeks, something like that. So
Because you've got Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And now I see a lot of the software companies are starting a week. Actually, some of them are starting now.
I noticed them. I've been keeping an eye on TuneTrack a little bit. They have like 40% off some of their expansion packs, which is significant.
Yeah. I mean, when I told you Waves sent me a deal, they always do a bundle deal. If you own one part of the bundle, they'll give you a deal on the rest of it.
Yeah.
But now they're with the sale, it's a $1,500 software package for like $139.
Wow. Yeah.
It's amazing. If I needed all those, I would probably do it. But yeah, keep an eye out. There's if you're running Mac, there's a thing called the Apple Slice page, and it's basically a newsletter, an email newsletter.
Yeah.
And you can tell it what categories to track.
Okay.
And it'll pop up and say, okay, this just went on sale
Yeah. Oh,
at
nice.
80% off, and this is on sale
Very
for
cool.
24 hours. And,
Very cool.
and there's some great Facebook groups for this stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you've watched this before, I use iPad for everything. There is a iOS AUV3 group, and it's pretty much just keeping an eye on what's coming out.
Yeah.
So I noticed today there was like a dozen things. It's like, hey, this just dropped, or this is now 75% off, or
Yeah.
so. Yeah, we've got And I see some companies are carrying on into the first week of December.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're looking for stuff, don't buy it right this second unless you absolutely have to. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll mention that Universal Audio just released, I think, 4 more plugins on their native
Yeah.
thing. So even if you don't have the hardware, I believe that's how it works. You could have a Spark subscription and just use that, and they're really high quality plugins.
You can also buy them standalone.
Oh, okay.
They did make it standalone.
Oh, okay.
Because, excuse me, some people were like, I don't want to pay for this. Why?
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of the subscription model myself.
Yeah.
I might just, it's like, I need this and this.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes with subscription, some software companies make your computer phone home.
Yeah.
When you fire it up, it's going to phone home and verify that you're good. Well, if I'm recording somewhere without internet, which has happened, all of a sudden that's not going to work.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
So something to be aware of.
Yeah.
As you're buying your software is, does this stuff? What data does it store?
Yeah.
On the Apple Store, it will show you on the software. It will show you what the developer says it does with your data.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which is really cool because some stuff will just vacuum up all your data.
Yeah.
No, you don't need to know that stuff. It's but really, there's some really cool stuff coming. I'm hoping FabFilter has a sale because they just released a new reverb.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
And their stuff is hideously expensive, but I haven't found better. So
yeah. One thing that's kind of cool I find is that, so I do have some of the hardware on Universal Audio, and so if I've purchased a plugin that works there, and then they add that to their native, then you just have it.
Oh,
so that's kind of feels like a bonus a little bit.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah, I would rather just sell me the license. Let me put it on the machine of my choice.
Yeah.
And be done.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we've got. Okay. You mentioned something pretty interesting. So yeah, gear thing, we've talked a little bit about this with some of the ensembles that we've run, that, volume pedals kind of digging in, maybe, that's sort of along the lines with what we talked a little bit about before we started, but having the right speaker for the room kind of ties into that volume management and that sort of digging in, getting that good sound, pushing things a little bit, but not having something that's overpowered for a room and not having something that's underpowered for the opposite reason. That
can be tricky. I will always take more power over less, always, because it just makes sense.
Yeah, because you have a baseline of need that's covered.
But some stuff sounds terrible at low volume. And which is why you have things like power soak boxes for tube amp heads, so that you can crank them up, because most of them sound terrible unless you really wind them up.
Yeah.
But then the speaker's blowing out of the room.
Yeah.
So the power soak is great for that. UA makes a thing called Aux, which is a reamping power soak. It does a million things you didn't know you needed.
Yeah, they've been coming out with a lot of pedals. At first, I was a little skeptical. I've never tried one.
The pedals are gorgeous sounding.
Yeah, I heard what's his name, The Edge from U2. I don't know if this is true or not, but let's verify. Let us know. But he's saying he's switching to these UAD pedals and emulations. Doing away with the amps.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys.
This is a guy who plays arenas.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people are, because there's no need if we're at the point where the horsepower in the processing does just fine.
Yep.
I have used my iPhone as my EQ.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So but this low volume issue, if you have a speaker that's inefficient, you can drive it harder. So this is something to think about.
Yeah.
So if it's 90 dB efficiency, that means you put 1 watt in, you get 90 out. Okay, you can push that a little harder to get to a lower volume. You're
Yeah.
still at a lower volume. Some instrument speakers are 95, 96. That's like 4 times louder
Mm.
with that same watt.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, it's uncontrollable.
Yep.
Because no matter what you do to get any sound out of it at all, it's going to be loud.
Yeah.
So, and yes, you get lower than 1 watt. Okay, I hear you out there. But yeah, so it's this weird balancing act.
Yeah.
I know guys who have low volume rigs and high volume rigs.
Okay.
That
makes sense.
It just makes sense.
Say, I'm going to this place. I'm going to use this one. This
Right.
rig.
And some amps sound terrible unless you really put a lot into the front end.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of bass amps are like that, which is
Okay.
unfortunate. They sound weedy and thin
Okay.
and stuff. So if you have something with an input gain and a master volume, like any sensible amp does, that's great.
Okay.
I don't even use bass amps. I use PA speakers.
Yeah.
So I use a radial DI preamp and a volume pedal.
Yeah.
Cool, because it'll do quiet. I did a duet gig last night, very quiet, in a marble and glass bistro.
Oh, wow.
It's a little ringy.
Yeah, a little.
So this thing was barely on,
Yeah.
but it sounded great.
Awesome.
So something to keep in mind when you go to your local guitar emporium, all you out there, play it at low volume.
Yeah.
It'll do loud. They'll tell you how loud it'll go. The salespeople are like, hey, look at this. Turn it to 11 and it does all this stuff.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You want low. If you need it that loud, my rule is if I need something louder than my 2 QSC K12s, there better be a PA.
Yeah. Yeah. You go out and they scale it up.
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
house.
It's not your job
Yeah.
to do that. That's if you're playing places that big, there's a PA and a sound guy. But how does it sound quiet?
Yeah.
I've told you in the past one other thing. There's always one other thing. When I was living in Nashville, I was playing with a lot of guitar players I loved this rig. They would show up with a Telecaster and a little Fender Princeton Blackface
Yeah.
and an SM57.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd lean it up against the wall at like 45 degrees,
Yeah.
put the 57 on it, run it out to the PA.
Yeah.
Killer.
It just works.
Just perfect sound.
Yeah.
That's a 5-watt amp on a good day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've been watching a little bit of the Frank Vignola series. He's got this really cool thing. He's bringing all these guitarists on his show and everything. It's just amazing. But I've noticed they use a lot of I think they're the Fender Reverb amps. I believe that's what they look like anyway. So even those look a little over the top for what you need.
Yeah, because you're looking at like a Fender Twin kind of thing and all.
Yeah.
Fender Twin will get loud.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's loud.
Yeah.
They also weigh 99 pounds.
Yeah, that's hard.
That's yeah.
I think they may be Fender Twin. I'll have to research that a little bit.
It's big. They sound gorgeous.
Yeah.
But it can be overkill.
Yeah.
So there are other things that'll get you there, and
Yeah.
there are pedals that basically that front end, that preamp section, with real tubes.
Yeah.
It's a pedal.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's pretty neat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see. We also got this musician/band. We could talk about Lawrence.
Lawrence is Clyde and Gracie Lawrence.
Okay.
And then they have a brother, Linus. Great names in this.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Who does some singing. Yeah, I mean, just really incredible stuff. I've been listening to them for a few years, and their latest stuff just makes me happy.
Nice.
It's kind of poppy. They will do gospel-y stuff. It's just hip. It's very creative.
Yeah.
And the level of performing is so high.
Yeah.
And they do stuff, well, I was telling you, it's like they have some horn players. One of the guys is from the Hunter Tones, killer band. But half of that horn section plays with Corey Wong and the Wong Notes.
Okay.
And they play with Dirty Loops on some stuff. It's this whole thing.
Yeah.
But there is this crowd of players now, mostly under 35, irritatingly enough.
Yeah.
Some of them like 25.
Wow.
I think Gracie Lawrence is like 24, maybe. their level of musicianship is so incredibly high.
Great.
It's exciting to listen to. It's
Yeah.
fun.
Nice.
And it just makes me happy.
Awesome.
And they have a wonderful sense of humor.
Okay.
I mean, just, yeah, I laugh out loud at some of their lyrics.
Yeah.
And then you listen to the band and go, oh, I want to go play with them. You know?
Yeah. Nice.
So definitely go find Lawrence and subscribe to their YouTube channel because
Yeah.
they put up a lot of stuff. They've done stuff with Jacob Collier,
Okay.
which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, the three of them singing together, and you just
That's amazing.
stop
Yeah.
it. Yeah, and if you don't have Jacob Collier, subscribe to him and Dirty Loops. Those three bands
Yeah. Yeah.
will keep you busy for the next 10 years.
Yeah. Awesome. So listen to them, check them out. Check out this tune, Coral.
Yes.
Beautiful tune, Keith Jarrett tune. I hope you had a chance to check out the video that I did on that. If not, check it out and learn the tune. AI transcribe, very awesome. I'm definitely gonna be checking that out. Black Friday deals.
Yeah. Just hang on. Just
Yeah.
a few more days.
I know. I know. It's kind of hard. It's like, all right.
You got two of the biggest gear nerds in the world sitting
know.
here, and it's like, yeah, just
Hold your
so
horses.
just hang on another week or so, and it really does start to go nuts.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. So check out those things and let us know if you have some plugin that would solve a problem or just be fun to mess around with. We can try to point you in a good direction on it.
Or you have a plugin that causes a problem.
Yeah.
You know, there's a chance that we've fooled with it because between us, we have fooled with an awful lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and tried it and rejected some, and the stuff we like, we bought.
Yeah. And Christmas Real Book. Check it out. Like I said, some of the chords I'm a little iffy on. I'd probably end up changing, but
A little simplified in places, I think.
yeah, but it's fun and practical, and I've done a few Christmas tunes on the channel, so check those out as well.
And you should be able to buy the PDF.
Yeah.
That Hal Leonard book, I
I
think.
believe you can buy the PDF.
And all the Hal Leonard real books and everything, because they own it all now.
Yeah.
You can just go to their website.
Yep. Get those. Yeah. So definitely check that out. And let's see, John's Repairs, cables.
Yeah, custom cables. I do repairs here in the Baltimore area, but I do have people ship me stuff.
Yeah.
So you've got that weird electrical problem in your guitar. Yeah, give me a call. I love that stuff.
Send it to John.
And
Preamp in the works.
preamp in the works. There's two of them, a solid state and a tube,
Nice.
that are in the works. This has been a deep dive, but I'm having fun.
That's awesome.
This is fun.
Nice. All right, everybody. Well, thanks so much for checking this out, and do like and subscribe, and if you haven't already, and leave a comment. We'll see you in the next one.
See you next time.